perhaps find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say, nothing. Are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Laura Sandhoop, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not the weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was... Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what he means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning or on the right. Is there anybody in this, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in a church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 in the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see what that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. She warned these are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable. They're unavoidable. So that's one of the really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. Especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to New York Police Department data. Anti-Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 reported hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terrorist supporter, has proposed that the New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has his political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to, I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
I still got people arguing about lakes in my feed, and it's hilarious. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. Yes, people are still talking about lakes. I got some guy from Oklahoma chirping at me about how Oklahoma has more shoreline than more than Wisconsin and Minnesota. Dude, Oklahoma claims about 200 lakes. And when he did that, they count all the rivers and streams and ponds and everything, which adds up to about 54,000 miles. And Minnesota has like 70,000 miles of lakes or rivers alone, rivers and streams. And Wisconsin has 85,000 miles of rivers and streams. I don't know why I keep talking about this. It's fascinating how people get so defensive. And I didn't realize how controversial the fact that we call ourselves the land of 10,000 lakes. I didn't know that was controversial, but apparently it is. I am dumbfounded by and a lot of people get it, like the Wisconsinites. A lot of the Wisconsinites, they get it that we jab each other about lakes all the time, but we love all the same lakes. A lot of Minnesotans go to northern Wisconsin. A lot of the Wisconsinites come to Minnesota to go fishing. We're all friends. We just like to. We're like a pair of brothers, like, you know, in the same family that are like a year apart, and they're always competing about everything and always jabbing each other about everything. But they love each other. We love our Wisconsin neighbors, and our Wisconsin neighbors love us. And it's fun to go back and forth. But when someone from Oklahoma jumps in, oh, all bets are off. You can kiss every ounce, inch of whatever of my butt. And I was going to say butthole. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's so funny. Minnesota and Wisconsin may as well be the same state. Yeah, we might as well. We're very similar, except they're a lot more drunk than we are. And in fact, did I tell this joke the other day? What's the difference between a wedding and a funeral in Wisconsin? There's one less drunk person at the funeral. And most of my Wisconsin friends love that joke. They think it's hilarious. So anyway, how y'all doing? Happy Thursday, FTG Thursday. And yesterday, I apologize. I should probably ask this question. Maybe I should do it as a poll. I put a message on YouTube, the community, whatever, you put the community note or whatever, that unfortunately I couldn't do the show yesterday. I took my mother-in-law to a doctor's appointment, and it went way longer than I was planning. I'm curious how many of you, where I should post that kind of stuff though. I posted on YouTube, but I didn't put it on X. I didn't put it on Discord. I didn't put it on, I don't even know what the other choices are. Anyway, I only put it on YouTube. I'm hoping that I'm hoping most of you saw that, and I apologize for the inconvenience of not being here, because I know many of you wait with bated breath for me to start my show, and then I don't start the show, and then it's like, oh, was he just late again? Which is very common. But you know, I'm trying to do better, and it doesn't always work out. And especially yesterday, to be honest, I didn't remember that I was taking my mother-in-law to her doctor's appointment when I left the show. I mean, I remembered that I was doing it, but I forgot to mention it on Monday, or what's the day? Wednesday. I forgot to mention it on Tuesday's show. So, you know, who knows if I'll have a makeup show or something like that. We'll work on. I'll work that out later. Anyway, hope you're having a good morning. If you put it on X, I can share it in Discord. Well, I can share it on Discord. I didn't share it anywhere but on. I just didn't share it anywhere but on YouTube yesterday. And I thought, oh my gosh, this morning I'm like, I probably should have put it on X. I probably should have put it on Discord, and I just didn't. So I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get to the show, because you know it's one of those things. We got to talk about what's happening in the world, and so we'll do as much as I can. I never see your X posts unless I go look it up. Yeah, I know. I mean, some people see things somewhere or other, and the community posts, I don't know who gets those. You know, does it show up in your feed at all? You know, on your notifications? Because in theory, I have 2,300 something followers, but there's never 2,300 followers here. You know what I mean? And I don't know who even gets those. So, no, you have to click on it. Oh, so you have to actually look for it. Well, what's the point of that shit then? If people aren't getting, I don't understand YouTube. It's like, people follow you because they want to figure out what you're doing, and then if you send something to them and they don't get it, or they don't get notifications of your show, or don't get I mean, I don't understand that. The people who follow you should get notifications. But you know, it's just one of those things. It's very annoying. Very annoying. So anyway, let's get into the show. First, in the chat today. Today is Gunfox61. Yes, the amazing administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server. Getting the bell or bells. I'm probably gonna do that bell twice now, because I always do it at the beginning and the clapping gets all in the way and shit. I don't know. Do you hear the bell when I do the bell? Because you get the bell. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli. And Somnambule Nation, Kara Soldier, what's up? Resolute Juror, Blue Eyed Scream, Hoko Sports, our young friend Midnight, Miss Wild Wolf is here, Louie is in the house. Also, K-Show, what up? Kirsten, good morning. Anon, 1, 2, 3. Also, Somnambule Nation. I said that already? I already said Somnambule Nation. Well, I'm saying it twice, damn it. Zero the Hero, welcome back. Nice to have you here. Sure You Gospel. Johnny Boomer Tech over on the board. The Pope is here, yes. Pope Tyrannus III. The Blessed Lich with the daily message of hope from not the Father, not the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Who says, blessings of the divine dead. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, but the road as a way to heaven as well. Be vigilant, take it slow, and read the road signs. Once missed, you cannot go back. Oh! That's today's message from the Pope. Thank you, Pope Tyrannus III. Also, Attack of Pack is in the house. Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost. Yeah, there's a new name. Now, here's the thing. The reason I'm saying that is because I'm only seeing the ats. So if you haven't been here a while and I'm like reading and I'm going, there's some other name that goes with that at. For some reason, it's not giving me your username. It's giving me the at. So whatever's in your ad is what I'm getting. So good morning, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost. Also, Mike Savage. Blarg. Did I already say Mike Savage too? No, you just got here. Good morning, Mike. How you doing? Or wait, I'm sorry. So good afternoon, Mike. Nice to have you here. Wow, that's a lot of people to start the show. I'm not used to that. It's been a while since that started this hefty. Good morning. Also, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. What's up? And not that I don't love all my Canadians, but Jaeger Pony's my favorite Canadian. Just saying. I gotta have one favorite, and then there's a list of other favorites. But you are the. Wait, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost is an alt of mine. Oh, well, that always screws me up. You got two things going here, and I don't even know how you do that. You got one on your phone and one on your computer? I don't know. I just don't get it. I gotta turn the brightness down in there. Holy shit. What did I do? Hang on a second. Video capture device, configure video. Let's turn that. I'm already kind of pale as it is for a brother. I don't need to make myself more pale. Here, let's turn that down. There we go. There we go. At least it kind of looks more natural than whatever in the bright lights and the sunshine and whatnot. Okay, stuff that's going on in the world. Well, let's start with today's holiday. Today is World Kindness Day, and oh, well, what the hell is it? Let's put it on the screen. There we go. World Kindness Day, which on X, I'm like, who celebrates that shit? It's like, it's World FU Day, right? Anyway, someone here has one. Share a little love on World Kindness Day. Random act of kindness. Here's some ideas for random act of kindness on World Kindness Day. Compliment a stranger. Hey, your hair looks really good today. You're having a good hair day, even if it looks like shit. Give a generous tip. Yeah, more than 20% was generous. 20% is generous. 15% is kind of common. I'm talking about the U.S. because not everyone tips the rest of the world. But here's something for you, especially people who deliver food or at a server. Never give less than a 10% tip if you're an American, because that's kind of the standard is 15%. But sometimes you see these stupid posts on X where someone says, "Well, take the total of the bill, divide it by 10, and then take that times 3." That's a 30% tip. That's an extremely generous tip. You don't have to do that shit. Tipping culture kind of gets out of hand, and especially don't tip anywhere where you have to go pick up your food from the counter. Okay, because I've been seeing these TCs in the house. What up, Moist Tree Rat in the house? Because that's stupid too. I don't know. It pisses me off every time I'm going into some place and you ordered food at the counter and you go to pay and it gives you options for tips. I'm like, no tip. You don't tip. I'm not tipping your ass. You didn't do anything. But people who serve you food, well, then they did something. Or someone who delivers your food, that's tip those. Don't bet on the ponies. There, I love to tip. Okay, well that yeah. Okay, ED, come on, man. You just Oh no. I'm not going to say what I almost just said, because that would get me in trouble with every black woman in the country. Anyway, other things you can do on Random Act of Kindness Day. Give someone 100% of your attention. That's a huge one. If someone's talking to you and you're over there scrolling on your phone, that's not giving anyone 100% of your attention. Hello. Oh, and Tyler F's in the house, aka Hurricane Francie. What up? Okay, other acts. Share a positive social what? Oh, share a positive social post. I could do that. Thank your other half. Well, I thank my other half every day. We thank each other quite often. Even if, like, you know, if we go out to dinner and someone pulls out their card first, because we kind of take turns doing that. It doesn't really matter. It's all in the same pot. But even if you know, if my wife does that, I say thanks. Hey, honey, thanks for dinner. Or if one of us cooks, every night, no matter who does the cooking, the person who didn't do the cooking says, thank you for cooking dinner. It's just a habit you should get into with anyone who does anything for you, of saying thank you. And it'll always be appreciated. Also, treat a friend, unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer, give a hug, cook a meal for someone, and that's all the ones they said there. Anyway, established in 1998 by the World Kindness Movement following the 1997 Tokyo Conference, World Kindness Day on November 12th engages over 30 nations in what? In to promote empathy without political or religious affiliations. In 2025, the United Nations groups like Save the Children urge actions such as community dialogue and disaster relief to combat hate speech, fuck that, and build tolerance. And I should say combat hateful speech. There's no hate speech, is just someone's opinion. But anyway, it's a nice idea. World Kindness Day. Happy World Kindness Day. Other holidays today, besides World Kindness Day, which is number one on the list of the holiday calendar, World Quality Day. Build something with quality. I don't know. National Hug a Musician Day. I'm a musician. I need a hug. So anyone want to give me a hug? Sadie Hawkins Day. I don't know why today is Sadie Hawkins Day, but you know, it's the time for chicks to act out the dudes. World Usability Day. They come up with some dumb shit. This one unnerves me though. National Indian Pudding Day. After the little thing we talked about the other day where they're always pooping in the streets. I don't know what that means. What is Indian pudding? I have no idea. Rich, delicious flavors of Indian pudding on National Indian Pudding Day. Does anyone know what Indian pudding is? I mean, I know what bread pudding is. I know what hasty pudding is. I know what chocolate pudding is. I know what, Bill Cosby, pudding pops. I know that. What is Indian pudding? But how do you know they are a musician? That's a good question. You got to ask them first. Hey, do you play an instrument? Do you sing? And do you count singers as musicians? I mean, you're making music with your voice. I mean, or is a musician someone? Okay, here's a good. That's a good poll question. Let's see. Poll. Let's see. Here we go. Do you consider singers who do not play an instrument a musician? That's a good poll question. There we go. There's our first poll of the day. Do you consider singers who do not play an instrument a musician? That's deep. I should have done that in the Q&A and said why or why not. All right. And then finally, it's anti-bullying week. So don't bully anybody. And if you see a bully, being bullied, punch that bully in the mouth. Okay. Did that just get my YouTube channel flagged? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Do you see AD up there as the superstar sponsor? There's no sponsor today yet. Do I have to do that before I start the stream? I don't know. I did change that. Anyway, all right, so that's the holidays. Did I even have any of that on the screen? I think I did. All right, Normally I do a celebrity birthday or something, something like that. But today, oh wait, I know what I forgot to do. Let's do this first. Let's go to the people who shared the stream, because I'm really proud of that, and I really appreciate that. Why is this scrolled down so damn far? Okay, here we go. Oh, I see. I know why. All right, thanks to the people who shared the show today. Somnambule Nation leading the pack, dropping the links in the old X app, formerly known as Twitter. And thank you for sharing the stream. Also, Resolute Germ with the Nasty Boys. Now, I thought the Nasty Boys were a great creation by the WWE. Maybe could possibly be on one of my top 5, well, definitely top 10 tag team bits ever. I really liked the gimmick. Not that they were the greatest wrestlers, but they were a great gimmick as far as wrestling. So, thank you, Resolute Germ, for bringing me back to the Nasty Boys. Also, Gunfox has dropped a few articles. Actually, I'm using one today because I thought it was very appropriate. Link in description, aka Somnambule Nation, with a "Let's go. Who's up for some FDGs? Anyone? Anyone? Yes. Very good. With the that's who's that character? I know James Wood did the character. Hades. This is Hades from Hercules, my favorite movie of all time and my favorite cartoon. 2 in 1. So anyway, Ms. Wild Wolf, thank you for sharing the stream. Already reposted that. And again, Gunfox. Also, who is this? CG dropping a little turkey. It is almost Thanksgiving. My God. Oh, I got shit to do. I got to start cooking. And then also Ms. Wild Wolf, we're open, because the theme today is America's Open. And she's got, I don't know why. I haven't quite figured out why, but this lady's kind of attractive to me. I don't know why. Not even a redhead, but it's kind of cute. Anyway, Ms. Wild Wolf, oh, dude, that's me doing that. Also, people are retweeting the stream. Tyler Alexander, CG, Ms. Wild Wolf, Sure You Gospel. Who is this? Kirsten Scholl. K-Shaw, you changed your Avi on X. Somnambule Nation and Resolute Germ. And our daily Ric Flair. Thank you, Tyler Alexander. And Mike Savage, of course, with the Let Us Go. Let Us Go. Said in an Irish accent that I cannot really do. Let us go. That's not Irish. Anyway, and then TC dropping the link on your own. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who shares the stream. Greatly appreciate it. All right, now I was going to go to the celebrity birthday, but we're not doing a celebrity birthday today because and Resolute Germ will appreciate this, I guess. Today we remember Eddie Guerrero, the great WWE wrestler who passed away 20 years ago today at age 38. Man, a lot of these professional wrestlers, die young, and for various reasons, but they abuse the shit out of themselves. But yeah, I can't believe it's been 20 years since Eddie Guerrero died. I can't even, that blows me away that it's been 20 years. I mean, then again, I have kids who are 30 years old. But man, 20 years ago, someone says, 20 years ago, as I woke up, turned on the family computer and saw something that made my stomach turn. Eddie Guerrero. To this day, it doesn't feel right. Someone so full of life, who was in his prime of his career, who is probably winning the world title that week, just gone. But he lives 20 years later, and just this week on Raw, his name was still being chanted by 20,000 people. 20,000 people. Member of iconic Guerrero wrestling family, his career spanned the globe, beginning in Mexico promotions like EMLL and AAA. He also competed in New Japan Pro Wrestling before gaining mainstream exposure in the United States with ECW in 1995, where he won the ECW World Television Championship. Later that year, he joined World Championship Wrestling, WCW, where he became the WCW Cruiserweight Champion, United States Heavyweight Champion, surrounded with the WWE or F, whatever, in 2000, eventually capturing the WWE Championship. He passed away on November 13th, 2005, while an active performer and reigning WWE Tag Team Champion with Batista. He was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006. So, God, he was, and it's funny because he's not the biggest dude, but he had quite the character. I mean, he seemed full of life. So, rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. 20 years ago, though. 20 years. Holy shit. Can't believe it. All right. And also, now let's get into just a bunch of news items, okay? There's a whole bunch of news items. I'm going to go through them quite quickly, probably today. Not a whole ton of commentary, but there will be there definitely is a few FTGs in here. Because yesterday I missed a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff going on yesterday. And one of them is the fact that they opened they passed that bill to open the government back up. And Democrats are mad and Republicans are like, y'all are idiots. And so, but let's start with this one, though, because this is fascinating. Today is also a day that Starbucks commemorates, known as Red Cup Day. And Red Cup Day, apparently at Starbucks, is when they do all red cups and commemorating that the holiday season's coming up, right? By the way, you can go ahead and FTG Starbucks and their stupid employees, because I'm not a fan of Starbucks. But anyway, apparently the baristas at Starbucks are set to walk off the job in dozens of U.S. cities on Thursday, aiming to galvanize public support and pressure the company on Red Cup Day, the coffee giant's annual holiday promotion. So here's the article from ABC News. More than 1,000 Starbucks workers will go on strike at about 65 stores scattered across the states as far-flung as California, Texas, and Pennsylvania. Starbucks Workers United, the union representing the workers, told ABC News in a statement. Now, I'm just like, first of all, you got a union to make coffee? What? You got... what? Anyway, union members say Starbucks has failed to make new proposals on key issues like staffing levels and pay since the labor group rejected the company's offer in April. The workers would seek to resolve hundreds of allegations over illegal labor practices, including claims of retaliation targeting union members. Quote, "We are turning the Red Cup season into the Red Cup Rebellion." Oh, that's catchy. That's catchy. I'm going to give them credit for that. Starbucks refusal to settle a fair union contract and end union busting is forcing us to take drastic action. Yes, we will not make your coffee today. Amos Hall, a barista at a store in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, told ABC News in a statement. In a statement to ABC News, Starbucks spokesperson Jackie Anderson downplayed the scale of the anticipated strike and faulted the union for what she described as a refusal to bargain with the company. "We are disappointed that Workers United, who only represents around 4% of our partners, has voted to authorize a strike instead of returning to the bargaining table. When they're ready to come back, we're ready to talk. Any agreements need to reflect the reality that Starbucks already offers the best job in retail, including more than a $30 an hour average in pay." Oh, pay and benefits. See, a lot of companies play this game. Hello, Richard Head, a.k.a. Dick. How you doing, brother? Hey, a lot of companies do this, though, because they'll say, well, you're getting over $30 an hour in average pay and benefits. Yeah, and people think, oh my God, they're making $30 an hour. Well, they're not making $30 an hour, but Starbucks, the baristas are making pretty good money for someone who's just making coffee. You know what I mean? I mean, they're making coffee, maybe handing out a pastry or two. Come on. But anyway, Anderson contested the union's characterization of the impasse in negotiations, saying that the union brought an incomplete proposal to its members for the ill-fated vote in April. Starbucks Workers United said it represents more than 12,000 unionized baristas at over 600 stores. Wait a minute. Then why are only 1,000 going on strike? If you represent 12,000 unionized baristas, the company provided ABC News with a lower estimate, saying that the union counts 9,500 members at about 550 locations. So I guess I'll be going to the gas station to get my coffee, like I do every day when I don't make my own. Anyway, but without the barista, who will make the design on the foam? I don't know. I understand unions help workers, whatever, but they act like Starbucks is on a high margin, super profitable business. I'm pretty sure the margins at Starbucks are pretty puny. I mean, you're making coffee. Are they? Because I mean, look, I guarantee that their biggest cost is labor. Anyway, moving on. USAID, the agency that lost much of its funding when Donald Trump came into office this second time. Apparently, they were giving a shit ton of money to the BBC, and I don't mean that BBC. Although I'm sure they probably were giving some to that too. Anyway, the U.S. Agency for International Development provided approximately 2.6 billion pounds, which is probably, I don't know, $2.5 billion to BBC Media Action. Now, BBC Media Action, I'm sure, is a charitable offshoot of the BBC, but when you're being charitable. Anyway, BBC Action funding media training and misinformation efforts in over 30 countries, including Ukraine and Myanmar. Critics like Representative Tim Burchett and Harmeet Dillon highlighted the support on X, linking it to BBC's alleged anti-Trump bias following a misleading January 6 documentary that drew lawsuit threats. The funding ceased in early 2025 after President Donald Trump's executive order paused foreign aid and effectively shuttered USAID, disrupting global journalism projects. So it's a little, in a way, it's misleading that they funded the BBC itself, but BBC Action is a function of the BBC. And I don't know why we're giving them about $2.5 billion for what? Holy fuck. So yeah, here's Burchett and Harmeet Dillon talking about it. Wait, so we fund the BBC and in turn they defame our president? Which they kind of did. I mean, let's see. Oh, here's Mike Benz's take. He usually has a good take. USAID is BBC Media Action's single biggest donor. Other than the British government itself, BBC Media Action is the BBC's giant pool of free money to pay hundreds of other media outlets to produce slop and amplify stories aligned with the BBC. That's exactly what it is, Mike. You got it down, baby. That's exactly. It's just insane. I run into BBC Media Action constantly in my line of work on the censorship industry because in addition to paying millions to media outlets to toe the editorial line of the blob, it also funds dozens of censorship blob ops chops under the guise of countering disinformation. So it's a propaganda arm of the BBC, and we've been giving them about $2.5 billion that we don't need to be giving to those assholes. So FTG, TG, BBC. Not the good kind. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Also, apparently, Benjamin Netanyahu, which this is interesting, rejects a 20-year U.S. aid extension aimed and is aiming for military independence. That's good news. Apparently, Israel is prepared to completely end its reliance on U.S. military aid, which is all we give them anymore. We don't give them any economic aid anymore. Although, I mean, it's funny because you act like they're different pools. But he says that they're gonna just go on their own. Which, what have I been talking about? I mean, I'm 100% supportive of Israel and their actions. I just don't think we should need to pay for it. They've got plenty of cash. And they have plenty of people who can give them money because, you know, there's a lot of rich people of the brethren. There's a lot of rich brethren. I'm just saying. I don't think they need us. And they're going to start producing. They're going to produce a lot of their own weaponry now too, rather than buying it from somewhere else, which is fine. But here, let's see what this the clip that everyone keeps posting is here, with an interview with some fine individual. Let's see what this is. Hang on, full screen. There we go. Here we go. Here's what he said.
You were a few moments late, clearly running a country, so you're forgiven, but I'm glad you were, because this headline just dropped, and I want to start the interview by asking for your reaction to it. It's on the Axios news site, and it says, Scoop, Israel seeks 20-year military aid deal with US with America First tweaks. Is that correct?
I don't know what they're talking about. My direction is the exact opposite. When I first became prime minister in 1996, I went to the U.S. Congress, and we were receiving financial aid and military aid. And I said, the first thing is, we're going to build a high-tech, free market capitalist economy. We don't need the financial aid. Phase it out. And everybody gasped.
By the way, one of the reasons they have been getting military aid is because we do have common interests in that part of the world. Okay, so I kind of understand the military, but if they can do it without us, that's even better. And we still have common interests, and we will still support them in other ways. But anyway,
how dare he? This young.
Is she in a back alley? Yeah, I don't understand the background here. I don't know who Erin Mullen is. She sounds Australian, but I'm not 100% sure who she is. But
Prime Minister.
And why he's doing an interview with her. I don't see a yarmulke. I don't see a Star of David on her. What is? I shouldn't look that closely, but anyway, Anyway,
eager for a PR.
She might be in a bomb shelter because if she's in Israel, that's sometimes you have to do that.
Title. He's giving up billions of dollars, and I was happy to do it, and I was right to do it. So we got rid of that. Now I want to make our arms industry independent, totally as independent as possible. So my direction is the exact opposite. I don't know who's talking for Israel. I do. So follow what I say, not what is put forward in some leaks that are not true.
So, Prime Minister, you think it's time to cut military aid entirely from the US?
No, she's not British. She sounds Australian or New Zealand. She's got that thing they do down there that's kind of at the end of every word. Listen to her while you're here.
I think it's time to assure that Israel is independent. Understand that our military aid is like a fraction, a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what the U.S. spent in Afghanistan or spent in, in the Middle East. It's tiny.
Okay, we got the idea. Okay, so yeah, good. I mean, I am 100% supportive of Israel and their efforts, especially against Hamas and other bad actors in the region. And I think they are fully capable of funding most of their own stuff. And, on common things, we do that too. But I like what he's saying there. So good for him. I'm going to go back real quick. Just what's going on here? Looks like I got more. Oh, more people who shared the stream. Thank you, Mansquatch and Reaction Puerto Rico. Are you here? Reaction? Carlos, you here somewhere? Got the money thing going here. All right, so let's move on. Who's next? The name Cynthia is trending. Now, Memrick is shoot. Is that Dom O'Leary, right? Dom O'Leary is Memrick, right? Memrick, I think so. How you doing? Please don't take offense. Not even a gate. That's funny. Cynthia, the name Cynthia is trending. Yeah. Now, wait a minute. AD, do you see his name as Dom O'Leary or do you see it as Memrilock? I'm curious. Am I the only one seeing these in the chat as ats? Or does everybody see them as ats? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Cynthia Enviro. Do you know who that is? She is that from the, what's that stupid name? Oh, you just recognize the avatar. Okay. The film version of Wicked Cynthia Enviro is the black woman with the bald head that plays the wicked, one of the Wicked Witches or whatever in Wicked. A great actress, great singer, very talented human being, right? Now there's something odd that happened. One, first of all, I think they're doing like a tour of Wicked openings around the world, and apparently some crazed Chiquita decided to come up and get all excited too much and got a little bit too close to. Okay, here, hang on. Let me run this back. Fan got a little too excited and came up and got her arm around Ariana Grande, right? Okay, and so let's see that part first. Okay, here's what happened. Okay, here it is. Okay, there's the fence. She jumped over the fence, and now she's over. She went to hug and get a picture, and Cynthia Enviro jumped up, and I just pushed her off and like, get the fuck out of here kind of thing. Okay, major. I mean, she went like, get off my girl, you know. And I thought that's pretty cool. She went off on, and I think there's other video of it somewhere. So that's one reason she's trending. But the other reason she's trending is a little more curious. Okay? The other reason she's trending is a little more curious. Nearly snapped Grande in half. I know that girl got so excited she got a little too. Ariana Grande is a tiny little thing. And so is Cynthia, but Cynthia's like, she's a bodyguard now. See, look at that. Look at that face. That would scare the crap out of me. I'm not going anywhere near Ariana Grande. If she's looking at me like that, she might actually have the power to make spells. All right? She got the stupid septum ring, though. I hate that shit. But anyway, the other reason she's trending, though, and this is a little more curious. Apparently, for some reason, GQ magazine, the British version, has decided to put her on the cover of the GQ Man of the Year issue. Now, Cynthia doesn't claim to be a man, doesn't pretend to be a man, I don't even know. She may be, I don't know if she's, I don't know if she's on the other team, Yeah, Gentleman's Quarterly. That's what GQ stands for. Did you know I was in GQ magazine? Did you all know that? If I showed you that? I was on a GQ magazine. Brad Pitt was on the cover of it. But anyway, GQ Man of the Year. Oh, hi, Bookworm Addict. How you doing? Has her on the British version has her on the cover of the Man of the Year issue, starring Cynthia Enviro with Pierce Brosnan and Skepta. I don't understand. She doesn't claim to be a man. She's not. I mean, except for the bald head, she's not anything manly. I don't understand. So people are kind of getting goofing about that. Now, someone here says, this made my blood boil. There are many cases of black women being erased in our society. Just think about how when Cynthia spoke up about it, she was condemned. What is this about? This doesn't have anything to do with... Okay, I don't know what this is something else. But yeah, I don't understand. Why is she on the cover of British GQ Man of the Year issue? And then they got pictures in here. She's not a man. I don't understand it. PDawgKnight was in the very first Gentleman's Quarterly all the way back in 4 BC. The cover was, is this new cave all it's cracked up to be? Whatever. Anyway, so let's move on. But that's why she's trending. Now, I'm gonna give you what the Gunfox gave me. And Gunfox, this is a freebie today because I appreciate you so much that I gotta every time I check to see some articles. This one popped up and it was very interesting. Apparently, Venezuela has launched a huge military exercise as the U.S. Navy flotilla nears Caribbean waters. Are we about to have a war? I mean, it won't be very long, but are we about to have a war? Venezuela announced Tuesday that it's launching a massive military exercise across the country, reportedly invoking some 200,000 forces in response to the increasing presence of U.S. military assets in the region. The announcement by Venezuelan military came as the U.S. Department of Defense confirmed the nuclear power aircraft carrier USS Gerald Ford had entered the Southern Command's area of responsibility, which includes the Caribbean. The Venezuelan Ministry of Defense said the exercise launched Tuesday involved the deployment of land, air, and sea assets. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino said on Venezuelan state TV that 200,000 troops were involved in the exercise, according to the French news agency AFP. They are now, and this is why they quote, they are murdering defenseless people, whether or not they are drug traffickers, executing them without due process. That sounds like an American terminology. Because what's due process in Venezuela? Padrino was quoted as saying, referring to the U.S. military strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific that began in September. Since then, U.S. forces have targeted around 20 vessels in international waters, killing at least 76 people. The Trump administration says the operations, the details of which remain murky, are part of an anti-drug offensive. The USS Ford is the largest aircraft carrier in the world and the USS Navy's most advanced. It left the U.S. military Mediterranean Command region Tuesday and entered the Southern Command region, which includes waters around Latin America. The aircraft on board of the Ford included 4 squadrons of F-18 Super Hornets, an electronic F-18 variant squadron, airborne warning and control systems, 2 helicopter sea combat squadrons, and a logistics support squadron. The U.S. has also deployed F-35 stealth warplanes to Puerto Rico, and as well as 6 other U.S. Navy ships in the Caribbean. Many people both inside Venezuela, including the President Nicolas Maduro himself, and observers outside the country, believe the increased U.S. military presence on Caracas is aimed at forcing Maduro out of office. So, that's interesting. Probably not a good omen. And yeah, I don't know. So you need due process to execute drug traffickers. Well, I don't know how. See, now that's a good question. I don't know how that works in international waters. I don't know. I'm wary of that whole thing that they're doing down there. It's like, okay, if they're drug traffickers, how about capturing the boats in international waters and arresting them, putting them, do something. I don't know. I just don't know the rules. Acquire target, lock on, squeeze trigger. That is due process. Okay, that is a process. I guarantee that. Okay, other things happening. This whole Epstein file thing that I missed yesterday, that the Democrats produced a couple emails that didn't say all that much, but just that proved that Epstein and Donald Trump had been together at some point. Not certainly not that way, but which we've known that from a long time. But they did it so they could generate headlines, I guess. Well, apparently Representative Tim Burchett, I don't know, is he from Kentucky? I don't know where he's from. Anyway, he also said something about trying to release Epstein files today that the Democrats blocked. Here's what he said yesterday, or was this yesterday? I don't know. Whenever he said this.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett in Washington, D.C. today, of course, trying to open up the government, but I tried to make them release the Epstein files, and I was blocked by the Democrats. This is all gamesmanship, folks.
I'm curious about what he means here, too. How did they block that? But I'm going to let him finish.
It's not about releasing the files. If they had something on Trump, they would have released it. Biden had it for 4 years, and they hate Trump more than anything in the world. And so now they blocked it, and so they can piecemeal the truth and the half-truths, both sides, of what really went down with Epstein. And it's kind of disgusting, really.
Oh, why you say, wait, no, he's from Tennessee.
Hey, everybody.
Burchett. No, I'm not FTG and him. Look, I don't care who's in the fucking Epstein files. I don't care if Donald Trump is, they have pictures of him doing dirty shit. I don't care. Whoever's in it, I want it out. I don't care. And, but look, I don't give a fuck. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't give a shit about the Epstein files. I care about perp walks of people who participated in the defiling of underage girls. I'd like to see perp walks. And I swear to God, if the CIA or some other intelligence agencies of places that we might be allies to have anything to do with it, I want arrests around the world. I want people in jail for a long time. Tom Hanks. Could you see Tom Hanks in just a Gen Pop prison? He'd get passed around like dope on the Jamaica. Anyway, I don't know what he's saying here. Now, there's a proposed community note here. Democrats did not block it. Representative Steve Womack, Republican of Arkansas, ruled Burchett's request out of order on procedural grounds. The chair is constrained not to entertain the request unless it is cleared by the bipartisan floor and committee leaderships. While Democrats did object to Burchett's unanimous consent motion requiring no objections for non-binding House Resolution 577 on the Epstein files, they support binding House Resolution 4405 set for a vote next week to discharge a petition before a vote, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, is he just grandstanding here? If he is, then yeah, FTG Tim Burchett. If he's just grandstanding because he knew it wouldn't go through procedure, FTG to Tim Burchett too. But look, it's all going to come out eventually. But what the Democrats did was dirty. They dropped some partial files that really didn't say anything, but boy, are they making hay out of it, because it's the propaganda war. They lost the shutdown fight, so now they come up with this bullshit to talk about, and still blaming Republicans and Trump for the fiasco that is known as the Affordable Care Act. So FTG to all of them. Okay. All right. James Comey and Letitia James are I don't know if they're trending, but they're in the news. Apparently, there's a problem with Lindsay Halligan's law license, maybe. And so she's the one who's doing the prosecuting of them. And now I'm gonna give you, I'll give you snippets of both sides on this, how they're playing it. So here's someone who's anti-Trump. Everything Trump touches dies. Lindsay Halligan's law license goes up in smoke because she has indicted James Comey and Letitia James without legal reason and broken her oath as a lawyer. Lindsay is also unlawfully appointed. Now that's what the lawyers for both Comey and Letitia James are going to argue in court today. Breaking Trump's handpicked prosecutor targeting James Comey and Letitia James gets hit with nightmare news. Now again, this is Occupy Democrats dramatizing this as highly as they can. We'll see what happens though. It may be a problem. Gets hit with nightmare news as a legal watchdog group formally urges the Florida bar and the Virginia State Bar to investigate her. The former beauty pageant contestant bit off way more than she could chew. Now, that's just a dig at her. Is it wrong to be a lovely young lady? Just because the former beauty pageant contestant. She's also got a JD in the legal aspects of the United States of America. She's a lawyer. That's all I meant. Quote, it is difficult to overstate the damage wrought by Ms. Halligan's actions in addition to unjustly and vindictively inflicting direct personal harm on Mr. Comey and Ms. James. She is single-handedly undermining, maybe irrevocably, the public's confidence in the impartiality of the Department of Justice, stated Campaign for Accountability's Executive Director Mike Coppersmith. Oh, so they're just going to quote those people. What? Midnight? Why are you yelling my name? What? Did something happen? Did the stream die? You were here earlier, weren't you? Oh, you came back. I got you. So anyway, okay, this is let's see how Fox News does this.
And this really isn't any fault of Lindsay Halligan's. The statute that she was appointed as interim U.S. attorney under allows the president or through the attorney general to appoint an interim U.S. attorney for 120 days. And by the time Halligan got the job, her predecessor, Eric Siebert, had already served the 120 days. So they have a good argument that she's probably not qualified under that statute.
So what's the pushback then? Take her side.
Well, I think the pushback is what the Attorney General and the Justice Department want to argue is that authority to prosecute in the United States comes not from the district U.S. attorney, but from the Justice Department and the Attorney General. So in order to try to firm this up, what Attorney General Bondi did was appoint Halligan as a special attorney and say that that was effective as of 3 days before Comey was indicted. The problem is she didn't do it till October 31st, and she's trying to backdate it, and I don't know if that's going to work with the court.
All right, so what would the move would be, okay, we'll get another attorney. Is that correct? Is that it? Is that one way to fix it?
What could happen, this could be much ado about nothing because they could, they could disqualify her, but there's another statute that says the government would have then 6 months to bring a new indictment.
Okay, so anyway, it's sounded like their attempt to get her removed from this is going to be successful. So that's interesting. So, check my DMs. What's going on here? What did I do? That's notifications. I don't have any DMs. Wait, what the hell is going on here? I don't seem to have any DMs. My DMs where? I see notifications. Wait, chat. What? What is this shit? X chat? Where my DM go? Create a passcode. Oh boy, hang on a second here. Oh, you got a link to some story? Okay, this is really weird. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they've changed DMs to chat. Okay, let's breaking news. Thank you, Ms. Wild Wolf. This is happening in Michigan. GOP trucker who wants to be Michigan governor says he's planning to walk through the notorious Muslim enclave to expose it. A Republican trucker running for governor in Michigan said he plans on walking through a city known for its large Muslim population so he can expose it. Anthony Hudson of Grand Blanc is not just on a mission to become the leader of the state, but is looking to shed some light on Dearborn, the largest Arab majority city in the U.S. Hudson 48 recently shared several social media posts about a demonstration he's planning on November 18th that will see him and his supporters walk through Dearborn to show that residents do not need to be scared or afraid to get together. He vowed that through the demonstration, they will expose Dearborn for what it is. Freedom of religion will not be misconstrued to oppress constitutional liberties, Hudson posted on November 3rd. The conservative said the event is also a way for him to help protect Americans from Sharia law, the system that guides the lives of Muslims based on the Quran and teachings from the Prophet Muhammad. The politician said March is meant to be peaceful, but noted that everyone has a constitutional right to assemble. We are not going to block streets. We are not going to be screaming religious comments to people. He told the Detroit News, we are simply walking to show people, one, we are not afraid to go into any town or any community in the state, and two, we're trying to bring people together. If elected November 2026, Hudson said he will authorize the National Guard to enter Dearborn, the hometown of Ford Motor Company, so we can protect the people of Dearborn from Sharia law and all the crap that's happening there. He told the outlet. When contacted by the Daily Mail, Hudson said, Michigan first, America first. We will protect all citizens of this country from any foreign takeovers. As governor, I will ban Sharia law and bring law and order back to these communities. The candidate's comments come just weeks after 5 suspected terrorists were arrested in the Detroit suburbs for allegedly planning a violent Halloween weekend attack. The FBI Detroit previously confirmed to the Daily Mail that the agency raided 3 homes in Dearborn and Inkster. Weapons, including legally owned guns, were recovered at a scene, and sources described the suspects as homegrown radicals. That incident pushed Hudson to speak up about his concerns for the city that has a population of 106,000, he explained. Although he is unsure how many people will show up for the upcoming march, he is hopeful for a good turnout. The event comes just months after Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hamid faced backlash after he told a Christian resident he was not welcome following a tense exchange over a roadside honoring a local who expressed support for Hamas. Hamid made the comments in September after Edward Ted Barnum told a city council meeting that he opposed a road sign being erected at an intersection honoring Lebanese-American journalist Osama Siblani. Siblani founded the Arab American News, the first bilingual Arabic weekly paper in Dearborn. He's previously come under fire for comments sympathetic to Hamas, calling the Palestinian group freedom fighters. Barnum said the sign was provocative and accused Siblani of being a supporter of Hezbollah and Hamas, which are considered terrorist organizations by the U.S. And you know this, you remember this guy when he told them he'll be glad when you move out. Type in Dearborn law citizen told to leave for being Christian. No, that's this guy right here. This is the mayor who did that. We've seen that. We talked about that on here. So yeah, that's interesting. I tell you, someone kind of described it as colonizing Dearborn, and we're seeing it where large enclaves of people from countries end up in one city and then take over the city leadership. We're seeing that in Dearborn. You almost saw in Minneapolis where that guy, the I'm the captain now guy, got defeated by Jacob Frey for the mayors, but he got a lot of votes, and it was a big hubbub over him losing the Democratic endorsement for that race. So, but it's happening in New York. It's happening in, obviously in Dearborn. It's happening. And look, if you go to St. Cloud, Minnesota, a town that's about an hour west of where I live, there's a gigantic Somali population there. For some reason, Minnesota is becoming the place for the Somalis to show up. And again, some of them were refugees, some have become citizens, but in any case, they're also, especially in Minneapolis, Minnesota, all those fraud cases, like what it's Feeding Our Future or something like that, millions and millions of federal dollars have been, let's just say that it's been pilfered. It's been pilfered, and the fraudsters all seem to be from a particular community that resides in the 5th district of Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Just saying. So, but yeah, in so many cities where, and also like in Minneapolis, okay, the Minneapolis City Council agreed that the mosques in Minneapolis can do the Muslim call to prayer on loudspeakers throughout the city 5 times a day. Sometimes as early as 4 a.m. It's like, really? They're not subject to the same noise ordinances that the churches who rang church bells on Sundays. How'd that work? How's that work? So it can be concerning. Although another aspect though, is I find a lot of the Somalis that I know, like who work around or whatever, who are like 2nd generation, and I'm sure it'll happen with 3rd generation, are kind of becoming Americanized though. So it's going to be interesting to see how that clash of cultures, if they can continue to rein in their own offspring that are all becoming more Americanized, as far as all the, although again, it only takes a few homegrown radicalizations to cause a lot of problems in this country. I mean, imagine, you can take probably 1,500, say you have 1,500 in a coordinated attack in major cities across the country. That'd cause some problems, wouldn't that? So we'll see what happens. It's coming. It can be nerve-wracking. All right. The other things I had on here today, which I'm not even getting to the government shutdown stuff. Donald Trump and Bill Clinton are big topics of discussion when it comes to the Epstein files. Apparently, someone says that there's an email. Jeffrey Epstein said Bill Clinton was never on the island. A lot of people are posting this craziness, when in fact, this is someone writing from Jeffrey Epstein. You okay? These stories are complete, utter fantasy. I don't know, and I have never met Al Gore. Clinton was never on the island. The telephone book is not mine. It was stolen by my houseman that is currently in prison for doing so. What Clinton was never on the island? Doesn't say which Clinton. It just says Clinton, not Bill Clinton. And here's the other thing. The flight logs prove that he went to the island. There's pictures of him getting massages from some of the young girls. What are you talking about? Anyway, but I'm fine. Release the files. A lot of them say, release the files for the Epstein time. Okay, release them. It's all good. I'm good with that. So anyway, that's why he's trending. Government shutdown, not so much trending, but the government shutdown is over. But Democrats are just having, it's like a propaganda thing. Look, it's so convenient that exactly the number of senators needed to pass the continuing resolution in the Senate just materialized right after those elections. Just amazing. Just the exact number. Not one more than needed decided to change their mind. And the idea that this wasn't Chuck Schumer, by the way, FTG Chuck Schumer, that Chuck Schumer didn't orchestrate the end of the shutdown with these 5 senators, because they already had a couple. There was already a couple that were voting for the continuing resolution already. Fetterman and one other. I can't remember who the other one was. But the fact that it's only exactly 60, not one more, not one less, tells you this is a fabrication. This is all a strategy. It's propaganda. They knew that they were going to end the shutdown after the election, and now they're all saying that it's Republicans' fault that we got the rising ACA premiums. Oh, you mean the premiums that are going back to normal after you had a temporary subsidy for them? And they're all saying that Republicans voted to raise your health care premiums. No, they didn't. They voted to fund the government exactly how it was being funded for the rest of the year into January, Biden style. Now you got to all go ahead and vote on the appropriations and whatever budget, the 12 appropriations bills, which is what the Republicans are doing. Now you can fight all you want over those, but the government's going to run while you're doing it. Because you all were holding the Democrats were holding the country black and basically blackmailing the country. So whatever. Anyway, let me just give you some headlines and I gotta get out of here. PJ Media, Democrats released 3 cherry-picked Epstein emails, so the GOP released 20,000. Holy shit. Democrats thought they had a winning hand when they released 3 carefully selected Jeffrey Epstein emails Wednesday morning. The timing was no accident, with their caucus still reeling from their base turning on them for caving on the government shutdown. They needed a distraction, and they believed these emails would deliver one. They were wrong. The so-called bombshell consisted of 3 email exchanges. The crown jewel of their selective leak was a 2011 email between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, in which Epstein described Trump as the dog that hasn't barked. He noted that a victim had spent hours with Trump at Epstein's house. Yeah, Virginia Giuffre, the one who wrote extensively and multiple times said Trump never did anything bad to her. but Democrats redacted her name so no one would look it up. Democrats redacted the victim's name and their release, but we know exactly who they were talking about. The reason for the redaction becomes clear when you learn that Giuffre had actually said under oath she has testified that she has never witnessed Trump engage in any wrongdoing. She stated that Trump never acted inappropriately with her, and she never saw Trump and Epstein together, and that she never saw Trump in any of Epstein's homes. Her memoir reinforces this point, making it abundantly clear that Trump had zero involvement in Epstein's illegal activities. So Caroline Leavitt reemphasized that in press conferences and shit. And so now the Republicans responded by releasing an entire trove of 20,000 documents they obtained from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. All of them, every single page. According to the New York Times, Democrats were livid. Why were they livid? Trump named an Epstein email released by Democrats and Republicans. I guess the New York Times has an article, but apparently it's archived. But I'll unarchive it. I'll have to click some boxes to say, this is a bicycle. This is a bus stop. This is a that. Select all images with bridges. There's a bridge. There's a bridge. There's a bridge. There's a bridge. Is that a bridge? Looks like a bridge. It's not a bridge. Is that a bridge? That's not a bridge. Let's see if this works. Hey, successful. I am not a robot. And there's the archived article from 4 hours ago. But again, even in the New York Times headline, Trump named in Epstein emails released by Democrats and Republicans. That's their headline. So his name was okay. So they had a conversation about Trump emails. Trump named in Epstein emails. They know how fucking dirty they are. They know exactly how dirty they are. It's amazing. Anyway, so, oh shoot, what happened there? What happened to my article? Okay, now I gotta go back. Hang on. There we go. Now we're gonna redo it. Democrats were livid. Democrats claimed that the sheer volume of the release was intended to distract attention from their revelations about Mr. Trump's actions during the time he and Epstein were close. What were the actions that were described? They weren't, you morons. Hang on a second here. Gosh dang it. I want you to have the New York Times article just for the sake of FTGing the New York Times. But they're mad. They're very mad that the Republicans countered by just, here's everything. Now, let's go, what do you call that? When you put a bunch of stuff out and then everyone goes through it? Something sourcing. There's a name for that. I can't remember. I don't care. All right. Other articles. Federalist. Cherry picking. There you go. Marty's so old that he is a caveman. What are we doing? Hello, Unacceptable Views. My other favorite Canadian, but the glow is waning when you say shit like that. Latest Epstein emails about Trump appear to be just another misleading Democrat info op. And they put a picture of Epstein with Clinton. So if you want to see that, you can go through it. Bongino's trending too because he's mad at Thomas Massey about this whole thing with the January 6th pipe bomber. And he wrote a very long, where's the long detailed message he wrote? Bongino. Here it is. This is it. You're going to have to, well, do I have time? Let's go through this. Congressman Massey has suggested Congressman Massey. When Director Patel and I entered on duty in our leadership positions, the FBI, we had our hands full. So we were happy to be part of the president's team, and we still are. Despite the multitude of challenges we faced, one of our first initiatives was to aggressively pursue the new strategy to investigate the January 6th pipe bomb terror attack. We brought in new personnel to take a look at the case. We flew in police officers and detectives working as TFOs, task force officers, to review the FBI work. We conducted multiple internal interviews, held countless persons and SVTC meetings with the investigative team members. We dramatically increased the investigative resources. We increased the public award for information in the case to utilize crowdsourcing. That's the word I was trying to come up with. Leads. This is only a small sample of the work the FBI personnel and leadership team have put into this critical investigation. When I spoke with you yesterday, a little after 8 a.m. Eastern Time, screenshots attached, I offered you an in-person brief on our work. We spoke for 10 minutes. I called you back a bit after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time to again make that offer. You didn't answer and have yet to call me back. Despite this, you continue to imply that the director and I are targeting investigators in the case. This is disgusting, even by the low standards many have for politicians. You know my number, and you're free to call me anytime, but it's easier to tweet and throw BS bombs. Yes, our leadership team will be meeting with FBI team members today, and we will avail them of all the whistleblower resources they need to disclose any evidence of malfeasance in the prior administration. And we will ask about threads that may have gone unpulled under prior leadership, because we are passionate about solving this case. But a week of near 24-hour work on recent open source leads in the case has yet to produce a breakthrough, and some of the media reporting regarding prior persons of interest is grossly inaccurate and serves only to mislead the public. I proudly serve in this administration, and I proudly work with Director Patel to reform and advance the crime-fighting and national security missions of the FBI. We would love to have you as a partner in this mission, rather than a dog barking behind a fence. Shots fired. Still, though, I'm curious about this whole former Capitol police officer and the gate as in her walking, not like she opened a gate and let out the horses. I'm interesting. It's interesting. I hope they figure that shit out. There's a new film that leaves no doubt. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass abandoned Los Angeles, says it burned. Oh, really? FTG Gavin Newsom. New York Post, the shutdown's over. Trump signs a funding bill to end the historic 43-day government shutdown. I hope we save some money during that month. I mean, what the hell? You know, that might actually help balance the budget. Anyway, we all know about that. Daily Wire, Biden-appointed judge orders feds to release 600 illegal immigrants nabbed in Chicago raids. You know, I'm just confused why these judges think that that's appropriate. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration to release roughly 615 illegal immigrants nabbed in Chicago's immigration raids. During a hearing on Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Cummings, a Biden appointee, ruled that hundreds of detainees must be granted bond by November 21st. The Department of Homeland Security must provide Cummings with a list of detainees by Friday. DHS hits back at the ruling Wednesday after calling Cummings an activist judge. Quote, at every turn, activist judges, sanctuary politicians, and violent rioters have actively tried to prevent our law enforcement officers from arresting and removing the worst of the worst, Assistant Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told the Daily Wire. FTG to Judge whatever the fuckface his name was, Jeffrey Cummings, FTG. National Pulse, DHS alleges a Democrat senator's aide impersonated a lawyer to free an illegal immigrant. Oh my God! Throw that motherfucker in jail. Department of Homeland Security is accusing staffer of Senator Tammy Duckworth of misrepresenting himself as an attorney in an attempt to secure the release of an illegal immigrant from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody. According to the letter Senator Duckworth issued by ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons, the staffer Edward York entered an ICE facility in East St. Louis, Illinois on October 29th and claimed to be the attorney for Jose Ismael Ayuso Sandoval, a 40-year-old illegal immigrant who has been deported 4 times and has a DUI conviction. Oh, just a fresh kiss of the perfect person to be defending. Holy shit. No, the shutdowns end up costing us more in the long run. Well, there's always hope, though. There's a bunch of other articles open, but I don't even have time to talk about them. I'm sorry. I'll be back tomorrow for... Hey, you know what tomorrow is, right? I missed Hump Day, but I'm not missing Wait, not FTG Thursday. What's tomorrow? Friday. Hey, tomorrow's Free For All Friday. That means, ladies and germs, we're going to have Friday Q&A. Is anybody excited for that? Is anybody excited for Friday Q&A? One of my favorite parts of the week. It's so fun. You guys are awesome. AD, with all the weird questions and shit, and everyone else who chimes in. It's friggin' fantastic, and I look forward to it every Friday. So, let me do one other thing before we go. As soon as this pops up, there it is. There it is. There it goes. Poof, bingo, bango, bongo. Here are today's links. Whoops. Here are today's links. Go into the aggregator. There's so many great stories in there. And yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. Anyway, there's the links. I got to go. Thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Again, sorry about yesterday. Sometimes life just happens. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow for Free For All Friday and Friday Q&A. Y'all have a great day. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.